Good morning, everyone. Did you all have a good time last night? Awesome. Okay, it's ready. Welcome to our session, Surviving the Game Production World. Today, we will talk about how internal tool design can help us in the chaos of game production. You guys all know Tolkien, best known for the Lord of the Rings. He once said, "Not all who wander are lost." In game production, it often feels like we are wandering through a jungle of legacy, chaotic, and complex systems and tools. But with purpose and persistence, we can find our way. My name is Daekeon, senior product designer at Ubisoft Düsseldorf, working on Ubisoft Connect for the online services team. Together with Mihyun, who you will meet shortly, we design internal tools that support game production teams across the company. In today's presentation, we'll be your guides, sharing how we navigate this complex world and create a user-centered path. Before we talk about how we can help others navigate, we need to understand where we are. In game production, the world is not just a metaphor, it's real. A lot of legacy system, tools that have forgotten how to update the tangled workflows. This is the reality we face every day. From the outside looking in, you can see the games that are looking great and complete also get reviewed, streamed, and loved. But behind it, there are a lot of teams working hard to make sure those games can reach players. Game production teams, transverse teams working on PC client or internal tools. To support that, we also run our own platform, Ubisoft Connect. Ubisoft Connect is a multi-platform ecosystem including cross-play, cross-progression features, and more. This is still the part players might notice. Even beyond that, there's a whole world of services players never see. Our online services team builds and operates internal tools that support production across more than 20 studios worldwide. It might look like a perfect ecosystem, right? But of course, not everything runs smoothly behind the curtain. Once you step inside, you start to hear things like this. It works, but it's too complex. It's hard to use. It is not visually appealing. It feels overwhelming. The flow is hard to follow, and more. This is what our internal users usually told us. Our users felt like they were lost in the jungle, unsure of which path to take. And as us as designers, we couldn't just leave them there. We had to give them a guide, a map. That's our design journey begun. So, what's the key to surviving the production world? Be user-centric. It's not just about building tools, it's about understanding who we are building for, what they are trying to do, and what's standing in their way. Now, my fellow guide Mihyun will take over and walk you through based on real cases we worked on together. So let's dive into the wild.
So hi, I'm Mihyun. and your first guide for today. I mean, he was first. Yeah, I was again first. Yeah, in real life, I'm a product designer in Berlin, in the same team with Daekeon. And I truly believe power of human-centered design. And here's my brief profile. You can read it later in the recording or maybe in LinkedIn. So yeah, okay, time to begin our journey together. With Daekeon, we've stepped into our wild, so now it's time to share the rules of survival in this game production jungle with lessons what we've learned from our real adventures. As product designers and guides for today, I will navigate you through the first two survival rules. The first rule is know your explorers. So to guide someone into the wild, you first need to understand who they are, what tools they have, and what monsters they are battling. So this chapter is about why user research is essential when designing internal tools. Online service team, what he explained a bit, that team builds the console web service for the whole support team and provide numerous tools to game teams, support game teams. And our main product for my agile team is Pylon, a tool for managing our PC client. And Pylon is the main tool used by various teams to manage and support those 6 pillars. And this is monolith web service because PC products are extremely complex. And in this chapter, I will share the case of UX revamp we did for the game product management tool in Pylon. In short, the game tool is the backbone of everything else: packages, add-ons, consumables, and other types as well. And it helps our internal user maintain builds, handle branches, and connect products together. So it's the core of the other products as well. But before start, I should start a story from my very first day in my team Pylon. So I was the first designer in the tool team, and no other related tool team has no designer. So the tool and culture and mindsets, everything was super developer driven. No offense though. Then I walked in. So people look at me like, oh, you are a new designer, show your magic. And I'm like, okay. But of course, the team itself, no one have worked, at least in our tool team, so no one have worked with designer before. I mean, of course, we designers have our own rules and principle in UX case, such as like heuristic, cognitive load, and more. But in reality, just following rules not enough to fix the problem or to change the way how team thought. So before I talk about design, I ask team, and maybe you, I mean you all know well, I want to ask, like, do you really understand your explorers, your users? In our case, of course, internal colleagues. But using internal tools can sometimes feels like being lost in a maze. So like everyone trying to ship their real games, and it's very like a lot of pressure. And that's why our first step wasn't design, it was user research, as we all agree here. So let me guide you through how we start this journey through the maze. So who are our explorers? So in this wild landscape, we are not guiding just one type of user. From game team to e-commerce, in total, over 870 people actively use this tool. It was stat from last year, so maybe it's a little bit different this year, but here's the catch. 88% of them use it every single day or week, so this isn't occasional wandering, it's a daily struggle for them through the wild. So before we change anything, we have to understand our explorers. And shout out to Natalie, another first user researcher in our team. We watched together, we listened, and we asked to keep digging deeper. our users need and how they or where they struggle. So after interviewing key user, we mapped out 4 core personas. Of course, these personas cannot cover everyone perfectly, but they helped us look beyond team's name only and focus on real needs and their behavior. And this became our lens for our team, shifting the focus from roles to motivation and pain points. And that perspective shaped every design decision moving forward in the team. And once we understood who our explorer were, we observed their daily tasks, processes, and asked them think loud. And we mapped the actual user flow to uncover hidden traps and blockers to fix, simplify, or rethink completely. We logged all findings in a shared template. I think you've seen yesterday from another one presentation. It's a little bit blurred, but I think you can see our template in the template context and grouped pain points, and prioritized and continuously we update for our team. So this sheet stayed very relevant and actionable for our team as well. But here is not where research ends, of course. So far, you see how we explored and identify users' needs. As we moved into prototype phase, iterative user research helped us to stay grounded in real user insights. So during prototyping, we ran A/B test or ABC test. It wasn't just about which version performed better. We also looked at who responded what. So comparing feedback from newbies versus experts, the results showed, of course, design isn't one size fits all. So we need to decide, depends on where users are in their journey. After the first design iteration, we had a new design for the dashboard. So we got direct and honest feedback, iterate fast, and move forward. It's just a snapshot, but a strong reminder to stay aligned with real users' needs. So what did we actually learn from all this research? We identified who our users are, mapped their journeys, and used those insights to shape our design iteratively. So we are not just drawing a map, but building a guide that truly works in the wild. So now we know why user research matters, and everybody knows actually, of course. And also, as you can imagine, this more efficient tool support a better experience for our players. But instead of just telling you, I'm a designer, so let's explore what we built based on what we learned. Previously, users landed directly on a setting editor without any guide, but with full amount of contents inside. But this right panel, okay, it had every important information mixed all together in a very narrow area. It's collapsible still, so it can be hidden for someone. And another reality, this is one of the example, and you can see these scrolls of the package list, which is connected to the game product. So we redesigned the landing experience based on real users' needs. Key info now lives in a focused dashboard, and it makes easy onboarding and quick links and clearer structure than before. And yes, this long-awaited package list is here, so tech ops now debug faster and no more endless scrolling. And previously, setting page kept growing by over time. New fields piled up without clear structure, so like they add new news over time with just time or order of time. And grouping, because of that, once patched, but still users struggled with edit conflicts and unclear permission, who could view and change what. So in the new version, we brought clarity with structured section and clear priorities. View and edits mode now split, and it reduced edit conflicts and give more clear boundary for each permission. So a safer map, even for more complex setting page. Finally, we have another tab what we want to see today together. name is branch tab. So some hidden pain points here in the list view. User cannot find default branch due to the bad sorting and order, which is kind of basic, sadly. And there is no search function. So like people always try to just control F and looking for what they need. Yeah. In addition, we need to build this tab with new service. So all detail page should be built from scratch again. In the list view, I added search. Simple thing, yes. Fix default branch on the top and introduce consistent table behavior. Along with settings, setting page update, now view and edit mode are divided and giving clear guide and easy to explore for users. So we cannot look all the detail, but as you've just seen, like each redesign point wasn't just a visual upgrade. Each change was guided by real users' needs and insights. So designing without research is like crafting a beautiful map that's never been tested in the wild. So without real users' insights, that map just becomes beautiful trap. Well designed, but can misleading. So only by learning from our explorers, we can build path that helps them survive and even go further together all the way to the players. So this user research process and result will keep guiding us in the next chapters as well. Until now, we've seen why research matters. In the next part, so this part of journey, we will tackle one of toughest challenge in the internal tool design, cut the clutter, designing for clarity in data-heavy systems. So, why is everything so complicated sometimes? So let's look at some numbers, what we have. Right now, we have over 20,000 products listed in our system. And among them, the example what you've just seen, the game products are 1,600. And this is only data from the production level. And as we have 2 other testing environments, the amount of whole data is more than triple at least. And this large number of internal user, what I introduced, like over 800 people, using this tool regularly. So at this scale, complexity isn't a bug, it's a clutter we need to cut through. So with so many products, explaining how they all connect to user and the different teams is of course real challenge. So instead of having just one clear map, we tried over time different concept of maps, and each trying to make things easier to understand. But it's like having too many different maps for just one same jungle. Then, okay, then where is that clutter? So let's look at the example. Of course, you cannot see the real name here, but we will talk about with example. So this is the product list in the Pylon tool. It's not only for game, it's for all the products. And of course, at this, when you see the first time, okay, it looks just simple list, right? I mean, it's not on fire. Could be worse, but it's still working, it's functioning, so people were using it. But clutter doesn't sometimes scream, it hides in the plain sight. So this is the example, what I want to share. And these 2 games and their packages have same purpose, but the format and order of information in the name is completely different. And the more complex the name, the worse it gets. So there is no consistent format or order, no standard, no shared rules across the team. So these 2 teams are having very different rules. So after user research, we discovered there is no built-in structure or visual connection between products. So over time, each team made their own rules. So no guide makes eventually chaos in the team or different teams. So as a result, names were inconsistent, and it makes, of course, harder to find the products in the list. So we realized to solve this problem, we need to first understand how people were trying to build a structure themselves with that name. Why? So how we start to break it down, this problem? It began when two perspectives met. So I was one day, of course not one day, think about how to map this product pattern or structure. And our tech director was planning restructuring whole product things. And at some point we realized actually we were heading to the same goal. So we kicked off a naming workshop and we start combining log analysis with user logic. It was just Notepad for almost 2 months, every week, once in a week. So yeah, not every day, but we did it from Notepad, and it comes in the board. So we test grouping, categories, and connections. And it looks still very messy, but something meaningful emerged by process. So in this process, I tried to visualize our product structure as simple as possible. So at the core, there is the game. Around it, add-ons, consumables, consumable packs, and it's connecting to the game. And packages are built from those. And bundles, group packages. So simple in theory, but name often ignore this, or different teams, they don't use this because it's not really shared or it's not internally there. So it made things very harder to manage by their own creation. So in parallel, we create a new naming standard for that. So name can reflect real purpose and stay consistent. And now we will combine those two paragraph. Let's see how the new naming standard and structure come together. So starting from the top, game product has a simple, clean name, and it's the core. Then we have add-on, which adds specific features like DLCs, language packs. Now, look at the packages. For example, this package is now, we can see in the name, it's a new game, and it's sold in Germany, and it's deluxe edition via Ubisoft Connect. Moving on to the bundle. Now it groups multiple packages for a specific purpose, and here, this is for promotion. Easy to understand by just the name. So the best part with this new standard, user can understand how products connect and its structure just by reading the name, and no need to dig deeper unless they want to, of course, more carefully. Okay, I need to breathe. That was a lot to deliver. So now we will see how those ideas turn into the real design and pages. Here's what the game creation page looked like. Sadly, it was just same as setting page before. So, and also there, I'm not sure you can actually read, but that internal name input field is just one chunk. So there is no rules. Important info, that's why important info stuff into the only in that one input field. And way too many settings shown all at once for creation. So which made it really hard to follow, especially for new users. So now, here's the updated creation page with two main goals. First, easy onboarding, so you can see the progress on the left side as well. Step-by-step guidance with only what's needed. So in the new flow, user can see only the information they need exactly when they need. Oops. So in the new flow, you can just follow the process, then you will see the last result, of course, only with the name first, because that was the most important thing they need to cover in the creation process. And second, naming itself. We give structure standard, presets, and flexible input for edge cases. So it's more focused, clear, and giving adaptable structure creation in the process. We also optimize package creation based on improved product structure paragraph, what you see. One key example is customized preset recommendation. Whether the package includes game or not, this can change its purpose. So now the system adapts. We offer different purposes list, presets, and item suggestions depending on a presence of a game product. These help teams make more accurate decision and align with the structures. Now let's look at the product list once again, where all the clutter comes together. So each team used their own naming rules. Important info got buried in that long name, not in a proper setting, of course. The result? Hard to find the products, hard to see connections, hard to debug. Of course, no wonder users feel lost. So we improved the product list with a toggle view. I mean, simple improvement. One-liner for a quick scan. So old user who is more familiar with it, they are happy with it still. But we are giving also detailed view with columns with deeper info. And this helps team filter and understand data more clearly, so metadata. And our naming standard, our new naming standard supports this shift, making it easier to read, track, and fix issues. And to go one step further, in the next version, we are planning a tree view to show the structure directly. And another idea was, one other idea for user's wish. Thanks to new naming standard, we can make the new list to show packages structure as well, grouped by purposes. That means users do not need to create their own Excel file to maintain this whole list manually anymore. As I mentioned, some example is in planning. It means the jungle isn't fully cleared yet, and we know it will never be. But we as a designer just keep iterating, testing, and discovering new path. But today, let's mark here checkpoint and see what we've learned. So here is very quick recap what we tackled from clutter to clarity. The main problem was cluttered chaos, data-heavy system, inconsistent rule in different teams made, scattered structure, all making it harder to track and manage products. And in the process, how we tackled? We combine user research and data analysis and define a clear naming standard and refine it through iterative design. As a result, we achieve clarity. Now, team can track products more easily and follow an intuitive naming standard and consistent standard through the team, and rely on clearer, scalable structure. And that was my first part. I'm Mihun, guide Mihun, and thanks for surviving with me so far. Yeah, and Daekeon will be the next guide for you.
Hello again. Been a while. Yeah. Let's have a look less stressful stuff. Or I'm liar. Rule number 3. Tame the tech tangle. This is about transforming complexity and inefficiency in internal tool workflows. Let's start with the simple truths. Manual steps and scattered processes slow teams down. To show this, let me walk you through one example from our work. PC partner propagation is about how we notify our streaming partners, such as Amazon Luna and GeForce Now, that our new game build is ready for them. Before we had the tool, the communication was done through email. Here's an example email thread. As you can see, it relied heavily on lots of back and forth messages for basic information and confirmations. This example was just for a few early steps with one streaming partner before the propagation. Also, considering some games require frequent updates, live games, and every few weeks, that means this chain repeats for every new game build and every streaming partner. This email heavy process has many issues. Too much manual communication through emails, meaning our users were spending valuable time on redundant back and forth. As long as information is manually typed and verified across emails, mistakes are inevitable. This process had to be reproduced for each partner and for every new game build updates, leading to constant, inefficient repetition. So the team asked themselves, why are we still using email? Let's create a new service. The idea was that the tooling with the new service could reduce manual work and streamline the process of sharing game builds between us and our streaming partners. The team started with the backend, a solid database schema to organize all the build data. But backend backend alone isn't enough. We needed a clear and usable interface. The UI concept was in very early developer-driven stages. So that's where I joined the project to design high-fidelity UI that makes this system intuitive. Before diving into individual components, let's look at the full picture. This is the complete user flow we aim to support, from a build configuration to propagation. It helped us align the design with real user needs and pain points. We focused on translating 3 key entities into UI components: partners, who we are working with; game partner configs, what game build settings they need; and propagations, how the build is distributed. These became the building blocks of our interface. The new interface empowers our users to manage build configurations and partner communications with clarity and efficiency, directly building on the 3 core entities. We also added a clear legend for propagation status. This helps everyone, regardless of technical expertise, understand what's happening at a glance. This is what our users use today. It centralizes all streaming partners' information and build configurations, provides a clear overview of propagation status, and gives real-time feedback. It's a complete shift from fragmented emails to a single intuitive control center. Some steps are still manual due to several dependencies, but our long-term goal is a seamless end-to-end workflow. So, what changed? We went from a problem of manual process, fragmented, and error-prone communication to a centralized, visualized, and partially automated system. As a result, manual effort is down, accuracy is up, and our pipeline is now more streamlined. From scattered emails and manual chaos to a centralized, intuitive system, we transformed complexity into clarity and inefficiency and into impact. That's how we tamed the tech tangle. Let's move on to our final rule: escape the UI trap. This is about making internet tools intuitive and engaging. Even small visual updates can make a big difference. Let's have a look at another example. Ubisoft Playlist is an employee benefit program that gives access to Ubisoft games through Ubisoft Connect PC client. Free games. Ooh. To sign up, employees need to visit a dedicated website page and use their private Ubisoft account. It sounds simple, but even this straightforward flow causes unexpected issues. We discovered hidden traps that were causing pain points for 3 key groups: our tech ops team, new employees, and the dev team. Let's look at each of these pain points in more detail. Last year, our tech ops team received around 140 support tickets before the design revamp in late October. 59 of them, over 40%, were related to account revocation. And 40 of those, nearly 70%, happened because users signed up with their company email. This is crucial because they could no longer access a Ubisoft account with their company email after leaving Ubisoft. This high number of tickets revealed a deeper issue that the employees were confused when linking their accounts because there was actually no clear instructions on which account to use. The login screen opened in the pop-up window, and external login options like PlayStation Network, Xbox, or Facebook make things worse because our PC client doesn't support external login options yet, so users could easily get lost. Also, many users forgot which Ubisoft account was used for the sign up. However, the website didn't show any clues afterwards. Our dev team also faced the pain points, mainly from existing limitations. Legacy design and code make updates hard. Web authentication setup was tricky because we have dependencies on other teams handling the tech of it. Plus, backend limitations due to the similar reasons, dependencies on other teams, and they also showed some concerns. Yeah, so since a complete system revamp wasn't feasible, so we focused on smart improvements that could deliver some meaningful results. Our approach included exploratory research, clarifying account guidance, simplifying the login experience, providing instant feedback, improving visual design, and validating with users. We will now go through each of steps. As you already have seen our problem statements, we started with some research, walking through the sign-up flow ourselves to feel the confusion firsthand. We also had an interview with our tech ops team to understand the support tickets and recurring issues. Our research showed us that making the text better and providing clear account instructions would be the key to solving problems. We've rewritten the text used on this sign-up page in general, especially regarding which Ubisoft account to use. We also simplified the login process by removing confusing external login options and using iframe instead of pop-up window. And finally, we added a section showing which Ubisoft account is currently linked to playlist, giving users instant confirmation. And as you already have seen, we gave visual refresh to the website using our internal design system, online services tooling development platform. It wasn't just about looks. Using the existing design system library made the sign-up page much easier to maintain and update. Lastly, last critical step was validating our changes with real users. We had an interview with new employees, got honest feedback on the old sign-up page and new sign-up page prototypes, and this direct feedback from users was certainly insightful. All our focused effort brought clear and very positive results, impacting on 3 groups we discussed. For TechOps team, support tickets dropped by nearly 50%, and revocation-related cases were cut by more than 50%, especially those caused by company email sign-ups since the revamp. We actually got only 17 tickets. For new employees, a much better experience. They find it easy to use, and the process is reliable. For the dev team, a modernized, maintainable website using our latest design system. This case shows how even small visual updates and careful writing can have a big measurable effect, turning user frustration into a smooth and easy experience for everyone. Let's wrap up with our user-centered design kit, the survival essentials we learned from our journey. First, know your explorers. And second, cut the clutter. Third, tame the tech tangle. And finally, escape the UI trap. These are the tools we carry in our survival kit, and we hope they help you navigate your own world. I wish we do everything, but since we need to rush a little bit, so feel free to take picture, and then I will go over the next slide. So, what's the one thing that ties all of this together? The tools, the flows, the systems, they all matter. But the real key is this. Again, be user-centric. A great tool doesn't start with the features, but it starts with understanding the users. That was our journey through the wild. Thank you for walking this path with us. We hope our story help you build better tools and guide your own explorers through the wild. And of course, thank you very much. Yeah. If you're curious about anything we shared, just ask your guys. Also, we forgot to put LinkedIn, but you can obviously see us. Just type the name on LinkedIn and you will find us. Thank you once again.